Patriots, rebels, outlaws, and pirates. In his first week in office, old King Joe signed dozens of executive orders. Some of them pandered to the far-left cultural warriors, like destroying women's sports by letting men who claim to be women compete with the ladies. But most of them, one way or another, were economic. And the result of all of them will be the impoverishment of the American people, and more specifically, the destruction of the middle class. These treasonous acts are not pandering to normal Democrat special interests, like unions. They only make sense in the context of deliberately eliminating the middle class as a political and economic force in order to pave the way for the Great Reset. Look at three things old King Joe did in his first week. He made war on the energy industry by killing the Keystone Pipeline and suspending any new drilling permits on federal land and reviewing the current ones. He halted deportations and prepared to open the door for more migrants. And he proposed a new COVID relief bill of $1.9 trillion. Each one of these things will make you poorer, and combined with the others and many more to come, they will ruin our economy and make everyone dependent on the government's largess, which will be very stingy to us average folk. Just look at the help they've given you so far. $600. $600 after 7 months. $600 hardly covers food for a month, much less all the expenses for a year and a half. And now they're going to add another $1,400. Ooh, big deal. For those of you that are looking forward to universal basic income, how much do you think our government is going to give you every month if they think that $2,000 in a year is relief? But let's get back to how these policies make us poor. The war on the fossil fuel industry. First of all, for all this talk about jobs and getting the American people back to work, the first thing old King Joe does is put tens of thousands of men and women out of work by canceling the pipeline and border wall construction. These were good, well-paying jobs gone with a stroke of a pen. Now all those people are going to have to compete with all the others still unemployed due to COVID shutdowns. But we'll get back to that in a minute. The war on fossil fuels and this climate crisis nonsense is going to have one major effect, and it isn't to heal the earth. It will make energy prices go up dramatically. When you are paying double for gas and your electricity and heating bills go up, that means less money for other things. Higher fuel prices to move all our goods will force all prices higher. We will all be paying more for the basics, and we will have less for other things, the things that make life enjoyable, as well as donations to causes we want to support, including political campaigns. Now back to unemployment. Freezing deportations on illegals already here and starting to fast-track green cards and citizenship for those same millions is going to put additional pressure on the labor market. Add a $15 minimum wage on top of it, and you have a two-pronged attack on the economy and the middle class. A lot of entry-level jobs are just going to disappear. Or the small businesses that employed lower-wage workers like restaurants and small retail outlets who were already struggling mightily under lockdown restrictions, they're just going to go under. Unemployment will rise, and on top of that, add millions more illegals to the mix, and it will put pressure on wages to keep them at the minimum, even if that minimum is $15 an hour. Now that high-paid union worker whose job on the pipeline or wall was just eliminated needs to compete with laborers from Honduras who will happily do a $50 an hour job for $15 or less under the table. So consumer prices will go up due to retail businesses, even large ones having to pay $15 an hour, and wages for higher paying jobs will go down due to the glut of workers willing to do anything for a low wage. Now finally, the COVID relief bill. All this supposed relief does little for us, and we know that this is not money coming from some rainy day fund. We're printing it and borrowing it. Do you remember that just a few years ago the entire federal budget was $4 trillion? Now we have spent almost double that on supposed relief, which we all know is just a slush fund for the connected, as all stimulus is. Well, printing and borrowing will only go on for so long. Money printing will lead to inflation, hyperinflation if it continues. Add this to the inflationary pressure of higher energy prices and artificially high minimum wages, and our buying power is going to drop like a rock. Eventually, all this printing and borrowing will destroy the currency, and then, well, we may look back on these as the good old days. Of course, the ultra-wealthy and the connected in government will not suffer the ravages of all these policies, but we will. Without the means to do more than put bread on the table and a roof over our heads, if that, there will be no money to donate to liberty candidates or organizations that promote freedom. Reduced to poverty, our voices silenced, we will be powerless. The oligarchs who control the media and hold the political purse strings will choose their puppets so they can continue raping the masses for their own benefit and vanity. Slavery, after all, has always been the most profitable business.